Hello friends, so today I'll be talking about minimal change disease with respect to medicine and pathology. Okay, now I am trying to do something different by posting the posting renal medicine videos, and simultaneously I'll be posting renal pathology in the same video. I'll be telling the pathology about the disease in the same video so that there is a coordination, and also I'll be posting physiology, renal physiology in the same series of videos. Okay, so yeah, that's my idea. So let's start with minimal chain disease. Okay, so minimal chain disease is also known as liponephrosis, and it has effacement of food processes of podocytes. Okay, so basically what happens is you have a podocyte that have this kind of structure, and when it turns into a flat structure, then it is known as effacement. Okay, now every child that comes to the doctor with nephrotic syndrome is assumed to be having MCD and started on steroid. There is no need for renal biopsy. Okay, now how will the child present? The child will present with nephrotic syndrome only. So this is not the disease which have other presentations like nephritic syndrome or other renal failure, etc. is not seen here. Okay, they do not have renal failure, they do not have hematuria, neither do they have hypertension, etc. Okay, so any of these things are present, there are lesser chances that it would be MCD. Okay, but still go for light microscopy if you have any doubt that any other diagnosis can be possible. Okay, because these things are usually not present in case of MCD. Now we're talking about very important thing called selective proteinuria. This is a good question. Then selective proteinuria is seen in which condition? Okay, so selective proteinuria is seen in minimal chain disease. So what is selective proteinuria? Selective proteinuria is basically only albumin secreted in the urine. Okay, so when only albumin is secreted in the urine, then it is known as selective proteinuria. Fine. And in the minimal chain disease, it is a very good prognosis, means it does not usually progress to chronic kidney disease. Fine. Now let's enlist some of the important pathology points. Okay, so pathology, remember that light microscopy and immunofluorescence is normal. Yet there are evidences to show that there might be autoimmune etiology to this disease, but it is not yet proved and not yet confirmed. So for now we can say that immunofluorescence is normal. Okay, now next is excellent response to steroids. This is one of the reason why people started thinking that this might have an autoimmune etiology to it, because it has very good response to steroids. Fine. Now one more thing is you have to keep Hodgkin's disease in mind. Whenever the patient presents with nephrotic syndrome or any other, say, nephritic syndrome, renal manifestations, basically there are a lot of secondary causes, and there are pretty much many MCQs that come from the secondary causes, because it's not just the renal thing that might manifest as the renal pathology. There are a lot number of secondary causes to every disease like MCD or membranous or IgA. We'll see that in line. Okay, so let's see electron microscopy. There is diffuse effacement of podocytes. In urine we see classical oval fat bodies. Okay, so you can search an image for this diffuse effacement of podocytes, or personally I like Robbins pathology for images because they are good. And yes, but you can also search internet. We find a lot of images on internet. Okay, so in urine we find classical oval fat bodies. So basically what are these oval fat bodies? Your glomerulus is allowing fat and protein, that is lipoprotein, to go into the tubule. Okay, so normally we don't see that the protein is going into the urine, but now the protein goes into the urine, so tubule start reabsorbing the protein. Okay, and after reabsorbing it, basically the cell is filled with the lipid, and because of this much of lipid, it undergoes necrosis and it is sloughed off. Okay, so this cell is seen in the urine, which is known as oval fat bodies. Okay, next is I want to say basic about what is seen in nephrotic syndrome. There is massive proteinuria, there is lipiduria, hyperlipidemia, and edema. Okay, so here the hematuria is not seen in nephrotic syndrome. Also, there is massive proteinuria, which leads to edema, and these both things. These are the four basic components, which is the characteristic of nephrotic syndrome, and you need to remember it. Okay. Now, yes, most important secondary causes of MCD. Okay, so secondary causes of MCD include very important NSAIDs. Basically, NSAIDs use can cause other IgA nephropathy and membranous nephropathy, but most important is minimal chain disease. And we also have interferon alpha. Any type of allergy like rhinitis or atopy, okay, etc., can be linked with the minimal chain disease. Okay, rarely post immunization can also be there, and earlier I told as Hodgkin disease can also be a cause of secondary minimal chain disease. Okay, so remember this: NSAIDs, allergy, post immunization, and Hodgkin's. So we'll be talking about treatment now. So oral steroids are the first line of treatment. Okay, oral steroids are first line of treatment. You need to remember that. Okay, then 95% patients will be that they will respond well. Okay, but 5% will be steroid resistant. So basically, what to do with this 95% patients? So give 60 milligram of that is full dose for 6 weeks. Okay, full dose steroids for 6 weeks, then taper in next 6 weeks, and total give for 12 weeks. Okay, so 6 weeks full dose steroids, taper in next 6 weeks, that is total dose of 12 weeks. Now 5% patients will be steroid resistant. So steroid resistant means basically that there is persistent proteinuria even after you give 4 weeks of steroids in children, or 4 months of steroids in adults. Okay, so you are giving continuously steroids for 4 weeks and the child still has proteinuria. It means steroid resistance is there and you need to change the drug. So drug of choice for steroid resistance, this is also one of the important question, is calcineurin inhibitors, that is tacrolimus and cyclosporin. Okay, now talking about remission, urine albumin nil for 3 consecutive days is known as remission. Okay, relapse, second attack of MCD after at least 4 weeks of remission. So it means that you have stopped the drug and the patient is fine. You saw that the albumin is nil for 3 days. It means he has gone for remission. Now after 4 weeks or more, if he comes, then he is known as relapser. Okay, so minimum 4 weeks should be the gap. Okay, it is not that the patient comes in second week and I'll tell it relapse. No, it is not relapse. Okay, so second attack of MCD after at least 4 weeks after remission is relapse. Treatment is we start steroids again, and but here there is a little change. We have to taper the drug at the day of response. Okay, so let's take an example and understand this. A child came to me and I started steroids, and on the 5th day the proteinuria was gone and the patient did not have, means the patient responded well to the drug. Okay, means proteinuria resolved. So I will start tapering the drug from the day of response itself. So after 5 days, I will start tapering the drug. It will take 6 weeks for me to taper the drug. Okay, so this is the total duration of the drug in the in the relapse. Okay, in relapse case, we start tapering the drug from the day of response, and we taper in 6 weeks. Okay, now steroid dependence. Now when the patient comes when there are more than 2 relapses while on tapering dose of steroids or on alternate day steroids. Okay, so it means that a patient, suppose, is on tapering dose of steroids. So we saw that 6 weeks full dose and 6 weeks alternate dose. So what we do in tapering doses, we one day we give steroid, one day we skip, one day we give, one day we skip. And while I'm tapering the dose in child, the child suddenly has again proteinuria. Okay, so now I'll think that the child has gone into dependence of steroid. Fine, more than 2 such relapses should be there for dependence. Also, if I've stopped the drug, okay, and within 2 weeks the child again has proteinuria, then I'll also call this as dependence. Okay, and drug of choice for steroid dependent nephrotic syndrome is cyclophosphamide. Fine. Okay, and other drugs that can be given is levamisole and rituximab. Now here I want to explain certain things about light microscopy that you need to know. Here see, here what you are seeing is the urinary space. Okay, this is the urinary space, and I'm seeing that it is quite clear. This hole is these are capillary loops that you this circles that you are seeing are capillary loops. This blue color cells that you are seeing here, all, okay, these are basically mesangial cells, and I can also see some endothelial cells clearly. Okay, endothelial nucleus can also be clearly seen. Okay, so this is basically a normal glomerulus. Okay, and this type of light microscopy is also seen in minimal chain disease. Okay, so I think that was it. So we revising it. So basically there would be patients who respond well. There would be patients who do not respond even after 4 weeks. Then this will be labeled as steroid resistant, and they will be given tacrolimus or cyclosporin. Okay, and the patient, there will be patients who relapse. That is, they all again have the episode of MCD after 4 weeks of remission. Okay, so that relapse would be there is only one small change, that the drug of choice is steroids only, but the tapering occurs at the day of response. Okay, and that we saw something called as steroid dependence, which is relapses, 2 relapses while on alternate day steroids, or after 2